Good. Yeah, I'm ready. Alright, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Myron, Amey Jr., better known as MJ, and this is my podcast I'll be calling Let's Talk About It. Basically, I'll be interviewing people around the sports world, whether it be trainers, coaches, players, and basically talk about their journey and give them up their voice and their story and their backgrounds, and just put it out there so you guys can understand where they come from, and also we'll be touching around the mental health aspect as well. So, man, this is my first episode doing it on camera. I did do a test run episode with one of my teammates named Alvaro Cardenas, and that went really well. I would still be dropping that, but after that, I was like, I want to move into, I want to make this as, put a camera in front of this. And, shooting, there ain't no better way to start this off with having my boy Mark.
Sir.
Introduce yourself, just to the camera, to the people real quick.
How you guys doing? I'm Mark Jeffries, aka Coach MJ. I'm the owner and founder of GGT Basketball as well as GGT Productions. And I'm happy to be here, man. I'm excited, the first one.
God, I had to have my guy. He helped me with the camera, the setup, and everything. So shout out to him. Shout out to G in the background. Man, shout out everybody. Let's just start off, man, just where you grew up, where you from?
So I'm originally born and raised San Diego, California. My dad was in the military for 25 years, so I also traveled around a lot. We were living, I remember when I was 6, we lived in the Philippines for 1 whole year.
For real?
Yeah, my mom's Filipino, she's from the Philippines. My dad's African American, so mixed kid, you know what I'm saying? So we also lived in Atlanta, Georgia, as well as LA before we finally settled in San Diego.
Yeah, so that I know with us talking a lot, you talk about growing up in San Diego, and basically, so even before that, because not knowing that you moved a lot from place to place, was basketball in the picture at that time? Even
I was a football player.
Oh, really? I was gonna get to that. I was like, you played any other sports, but man,
my first love was football, which is crazy to say. I played quarterback, wide receiver. And before we moved to San Diego, so a lot of times when you're young, especially when it comes to football, you probably you're playing with your boys when you're young age.
It's fun,
out
man.
on the street, So the year when I was in LA before we moved to San Diego, I was trying out for the high school team my 8th grade year, going into my 9th grade year. Like I was already gonna be quarterback, everything for JV. Then my dad, broke the news that summer that we were moving to San Diego. Okay. So it was crazy because when we moved to San Diego, like I said, I grew up with a lot of my friends. That's why I wanted to do the football thing. I was still playing basketball, but I wasn't as invested as I was in football. When we moved to San Diego, I didn't know anybody, So instead of doing the football route, I kind of switched it up and really focused on basketball, and that's kind of where when we moved to San Diego my freshman year of high school, I kind of really fell in love with basketball.
Okay, and going into your parents and everything, mom and dad included in life, how was it? How was the household growing up? With your dad being in the military, and
yeah. So I feel like my dad he never played sports at a high level or anything like that. He played in the military, but he's a sports junkie, sports fan. Always watches football, basketball. He's always on that Las Vegas line, betting, stuff like that. So that's where the love of our household, me and my brothers, my older brother, he played basketball. He was dunking at 5'7", and then my little brother, he was athletic. He played football and basketball, and then of course me, So again, I feel like our household, a lot of it was just about, like I said, there was a game on TV every day. It was Sunday football, game basketball. So that's how our household was just sports family.
It created a competitive nature around siblings.
Especially with my brothers.
For sure.
Yeah.
Man, so let's get into the basketball part. So what age would you say you started to play?
15. Freshman year of high school.
So freshman year.
Freshman year is when I started really taking basketball serious. My freshman year, like I said, I was an athlete. That's why I played football. I was in junior high. Everybody thought I was gonna be 6'8", 6'9", but I was 6'2" as an 8th grader. So I'm 6'4" now. So I was an early bloomer. And I hated being tall. I was always the tallest person. I was insecure about it. But it's crazy now because I wish I was 6'6". I wish I was 6'8". I think that that was definitely one of the biggest things was when I was in high school. really falling into basketball because again, like I said, I didn't know anybody, so it was more of like a me versus me thing. You know, like, oh, I'm in this new school. I don't know anybody here, but can I make the varsity team? You know, can I be? That was just how my mind was. Like, I'm a Kobe fan, so during that time, that was kind of like how everything was when I kind of really dove into basketball my freshman year.
Okay, and what high school did you go to?
Kearney High School in
Kearney
San
High
Diego.
School.
Yes.
And how was it diverse? Predominantly?
It was very diverse. San Diego's very diverse.
Okay.
Just everything. Okay. You know what I'm saying? We had, you know, Latinas, you know, Latinos, you know, blacks, whites, Mexicans. Yeah. Especially by San Diego, we're right by Tijuana.
Yeah, so you guys right there at the border, and everything.
Very diverse where I grew up.
So yeah, like my high school, it was predominantly Caucasian. So I mean, so it was like my first couple years when it was really like a handful of African Americans. It was kind of hard to connect. I feel like I needed that environment though because I did grow up like from school to school. It was either predominantly African American or it was just more diverse. So like that switched it up to a point where for sure.
How would you say when like you said, like growing up before you went to Vacaville High School, what would you say were like some of the biggest differences being around, like you said, predominantly African American friends, and then going to Vacaville, like you said, it's
it's the comfort zone. It's like I can be me. Like I'm comfortable being me around my boys and everybody else. Like they know me. Like we didn't grew up playing sports together and everything, you know. And then going to Vaca High, I didn't really know nobody. I mean, I did everything. Everybody that I grew up with was on the other side of town, or in the next city. So going to Vaca High it was like literally a restart button. Like, I only probably knew a couple people, and I was just basically following my big cousin around. So
I'm assuming it was like me to where it's like, because for me, what made me get friends was because of sports.
Yeah, so, that's what it was for me, basically. You know.
That's dope.
And when you started playing high school, did you have any dreams of like, okay, I'm gonna go to the next level with this, or was it more just like the requirements? Okay, I'm gonna make the JV team, I'm gonna make the varsity team when I need to, and then we'll just see where it goes from there.
No, I'm going to the NBA. Oh, yeah. Like when I was playing football, I'm going to the NFL. Yeah. When I switched to basketball, I'm going to the NBA. Now, that was like I said, like the household I was in, that's all we saw was professional sports on TV. So that was where my mindset was. My dad was in the military, so I didn't want to do the military thing. You know what I'm saying? So that was where I was at that time. Even though I started late with basketball, I was like I said, those 4 years. So from 2002, from my freshman year till 2006 until I graduated, those were prime Kobe years with the Lakers.
Yeah,
so,
most definitely.
So you know there was no YouTube back then, you know, nothing like that. So like I'm every night, you know, we're watching it at 7 o'clock. You know, I'm watching these games, and you know that's where everything, like I said, that's where everything kind of fell into place from the mentality, the love, everything like that. Because I didn't have any trainers. My parents weren't paying for no AAU, nothing like that. So that's how it was for me.
Did you feel like that made you fall behind other kids at all?
In what way?
In the way as since you already started late and you knew your parents weren't going to invest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like that, you felt like you had a lot of catching up to.
I didn't do any exposure AAU stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of kids do to be discovered or even have highlight stuff. All I did was play during basketball season. When basketball season around, I was at the park hooping. Like that's during that time.
That's real hoop.
That's how it was.
That's real though. Yeah. Like man, as many times this little driveway out, you know, that we got. I mean, that's many pickup games we did have right here. Me growing up. I mean, that's what it's all about. Like that's where it grows. Like that development of just playing basketball as a kid is really important, and I just think kids need to understand that now because we're getting to a point where social media is all about training and you gotta have a trainer, and we'll get into that topic later. But more of like just go out and hoop, you know, while you're out there, just have fun. Make sure it's fun while you're young. You know, you're supposed to be a kid. You know, while you know. So yeah, most definitely. And did you have any like wake up calls? Like you played somebody or a specific team you played in high school, So in high school, everything didn't really open up for me till my senior. Like I said, I was a late bloomer. You know, I was figuring everything out on the go. The summer going into my senior year, my dad one time, you know, it's like, you know, we had this discussion about like, oh, you know, don't put me in any AAU. How am I gonna get discovered? All this stuff, you know. And his thing is the old school. You know, well, you know, you haven't had
a dominant year.
Yeah.
So go to the park. So he told me, I remember, go to the park. You know, I didn't average going up to my senior, I never averaged 20. Go to the park, go shoot jumpers, go shoot. So I used to, that summer I would get 500 attempts up during that summer at the park. And again, I didn't know what I know now. It should have been makes, but I did 500 attempts. I'd be out that park for 2 hours, getting my own rebounds. That senior year, I averaged like 22. And then I had a game. I had this span where I played. I averaged had 3 games where I had 34, 33, 31, and I was shooting. And you guys know me, I shoot mid range.
Yeah.
But I went 12 of 17 from 3-point range in that 3-game span. And that made it where it kind of clicked for me. My senior year was like, damn. And I didn't even train the way I should have been trained, but because every single day I went to the park for 2 hours and got 500 attempts up.
That's still
my confidence was different going into my senior. You know.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Because you're my first trainer. I didn't get to you until I was 16, 17, and before that, I'm just outside getting my own rebound for the longest. Just out there shooting. Just shooting, But that's what it is, though. You know, as long as you put in that work. At that age, consistent. It's just gotta be consistent with it, you know. Not even necessarily gotta be what you do. It's just like go out there and just just hoop, you know. And then when we get into so you senior year, as we go through your senior year, what was your mindset in the beginning? How did you want to approach senior year so that like thinking, okay, if I do this and that, if I score this many points, if my team does this, it's going to open up doors for me in the future. Was that your mindset, like, okay, this is going to be the year that I get somewhere?
My mindset after that summer doing what I did for the first time, I'm going D1. I want to go D1. Like every kid, okay, I'm going to make it to the NBA, I got to go D1. So that was my mindset that whole senior year because, again, my confidence was different because I actually put in consistent work instead of sporadic work. So when I did that, my senior year, I averaged 20. I made the San Diego section All-Star game. I made All-League. I don't know if you remember our camera guy. If you remember Chase Budinger, he was from San Diego.
He went to Arizona.
Went to the NBA. I remember playing against him in high school. That was kind of like my moment too. Like, okay, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And again, like I said, this is 1 year. You know, because I was doing everything right, and I wasn't high as you probably relate to. Like I had no offers and then I had USD, University of San Diego. They offered me a walk-on. And if you know the University of San Diego, it's a private Catholic school, very nice, very expensive. My dad going, and not knocking on my parents, every family situation was different. They didn't have the money for them to pay for that year for me to earn, which wasn't guaranteed, to earn a scholarship to play for USD, even though I had to walk on. So I ended up going to JUCO. And I went to San Diego Mesa College after having, to me, I felt like an amazing senior year, but I didn't go D1, and that's the life part, so.
Yeah, and with that happening, and I know for me, it was on the borderline depressing, not, working so hard to try to, reach a goal, and it's just like, it's not, in words, it's not fucking with you. It's not working right now. What was your mindset, your mental at that point, as in, do I keep going with this basketball thing, or what route do I take after this? So what was your mentality after high school, knowing that shit's not going my way right now?
So again, because I had no mentors, no guidance, my parents didn't even really know what was kind of going on. They just wanted me to go to school. I was just more of like, not saying naive, but I was like, whatever. Okay, what's the next thing? I'm going to JUCO. Okay, I'm going to JUCO. So again, remember, like I said, I didn't, I know especially when we met, or a lot of the clients that I work with, especially when I meet with them at a young age, like I try to help them out. Like, this is the game plan. This is the 2, 3, 4, 5 year plan. For me, like I said, I was going with the flow. So my mindset more was just like, okay, what's next? All right, I'm going to JUCO. I'm gonna go JUCO, kill at JUCO, then go D1.
Okay.
So that was where I was at.
Okay. Yeah, and then how was the JUCO experience and everything?
Man, so I feel like the whole JUCO experience changed my whole trajectory of what I could have been, even though I don't look back too much into the past. But my freshman year going to San Diego Mesa College, right in the middle of the season, like I said, I was an athlete. I went up for a dunk during league, dunked it, landed, tore my ACL, MCL, PCL, and my meniscus in my left leg. I was out 9 months. So this is my freshman year at JUCO. And so I was out. I couldn't get that red shirt year for a medical red shirt because it was in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
So I was in JUCO for 3 years, because the next year was my medical red shirt. And then I come back for my third year of JUCO. I wasn't the same mentally. Like I said, I didn't have this, like the support system. Or even back then, this was back in 2007, like the way they do physical therapy now.
Yeah.
Like I literally did it on my own in the weight room. Trying to again, like I wasn't consistent. Like I wasn't, my dad didn't take me all the time. It was just, okay, once a week, if we're able to pay for it, we're gonna do the thing, but we gotta do the exercises. So of course, like that's not compared to like, especially stuff that you
especially now, it's a lot.
They on you, right?
It's a lot, yeah.
So that's what happened. That was my JUCO experience. Like I really didn't even have that third year where I did come back. Like I said, I wasn't the same, in and out of the starting lineup. That was
How was your I would say because that's a big thing, like the surgeries part. I know with me, but you messing up your knee and multiple things in your knee. I'm trying to work this in a better way, but how was you feeling?
Mentally?
Yeah, mentally overall,
So from what I remember, and again, man, it's a different time.
Yeah, different time for sure.
It's crazy to say that too. Yeah. 07, I remember when they told me this. I don't know if you probably don't remember. You're too young, but you remember Sean Livingston when he was at the Clippers? It happened 2 days after. So when the doctor told me, I was there with my dad, that I blew my knee out. This would take this long. You're basically done with basketball. And back then, doctors, I don't know if they said this to you, but they would be like, "Oh, you would never play basketball again." You know what I'm saying? Back in 07, I'm just, I'm crying. And mentally. And during that time, that's when I kind of, met some of my good friends. So I still with my boy Corey. That's when. I said I was getting into trouble.
Yeah.
Going to TJ, going to clubs, going out, partying. I was still hooping. Mm-hmm. But the mindset to be consistent or doing it the right way, again, it wasn't really there. Because again, I didn't have anybody there, to kind of tell me what to do. But I knew I wasn't going to play basketball. In my mind, I'm still going to go to the NBA. I'll figure it out. My knee will heal. I'll still go to D1. I don't know what the hell I was doing. So that's where I was at. I felt like, thinking about it now, 35 years old, I was just floating, during that time.
I know exactly what you mean. Because when I went through my first surgery, when they said, you're going to just be out for 6 months, I'm like, all right, well, let me just do the physical therapy when I got to do it. I started to drift to other stuff, other things to help cope and, just try to find a way to fill that void of I know basketball's got to deal with me. I can't. It was the first time in my life where it was something where I felt that I thought I always had my back no matter what just left. So, that feeling is you feel I would say more than lonely. It's just kind of
I was scared.
I was scared. And with me even then, I knew it was eventually gonna come back, but it was more bro, I'm in this place right now, present, and I'm hurting right now. You feel me? So it's I'm trying to do whatever to get out there. I was never a person that was I felt down multiple days, weeks, months. I was always kind of the sunshine, to somebody else's day, or even, So I know exactly what you mean because it's it's unexplainable for sure. So as you recover from that surgery, you go back to JUCO.
So I go back to JUCO. And again, no guidance, no mentorship, just being young and stupid. I transferred to San Diego City College, and I tried out for them. It's been a minute, but I forgot what really happened. But I ended up leaving that situation to go back to my other. I didn't like my coach. You know what I'm saying? It's just me, just being young, not understanding how to operate the right way, not to burn bridges. I know, I don't want to be here. I'm gonna go to the other JUCO. That didn't work out. I come back. He took me back. It wasn't the same, of course. And then from there, after not having a year that I needed to transfer to a 4-year, basically I was on my own. I started emailing 4 years. And D1, D2, NAIA, D3, everything. You know, because in my mind, I'm gonna make it to the NBA still, but this is gonna be my route. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the mindset was still like that the whole time. And then I get this one reply back from William Penn University in Iowa to NAIA, Oskaloosa, Iowa. That's where I'm at study.
Shout out to
this is you know, this is where everything kind of tied in. I go out there.
Iowa. How was it even just living out there?
Iowa. It was nothing.
Where is it even at on the map?
Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's like
Midwest, right? Yeah, something like that. That's crazy. Yeah.
And but the school was really, they were a powerhouse.
Okay.
They were known to be a powerhouse. They had like a lot of D1 dropbacks. You know, I flew out there. Basically, you know, it was a tryout. Nothing was guaranteed. I did really good. You know, they gave me a partial scholarship. I went out there. Finding out as we got into the season, preparing for that year, you know, like everything was looking good for me. I thought it was going to be my chance to kind of, you know, get back on track. The head coach calls me in one day after class in his office and like threw my transcripts on the table. It was like a movie. Threw my transcripts on the table and he was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "What you mean?" Like I'm looking at my transcripts from San Diego Mesa College. He was like, "You're ineligible. You can't play." I was like, "What you mean? Like you're not going to be able to play until like the second half of the season?" You know, San Diego, California kid. Like I'm not going to. The reason why I'm in Oskaloosa, Iowa is for basketball. What else am I going to do? And what to find out, again, remember I'm 19, you know, there was something wrong with my transcripts, but during that time when I reached out and I emailed to them, you know, they asked me, send all your transcripts. They said I was good. So of course, I didn't know that my head coach at my JUCO, you know, again, it was a pretty bad JUCO. He was giving a lot of the basketball players like bullshit classes, like swim, badminton, PE. We didn't have to show up just to keep us eligible. You know, and this is where I learned, like, there are coaches like that.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
Yeah. But at that age, you don't care. I get an A for that.
Man, no, most definitely, bro.
So when I got to Iowa, it was still on them. Even though, yes, you know, like that's something that they should have picked up on. It was like, all right, well, we shouldn't fly this kid to Iowa. We shouldn't get to the partial. I go through the whole training camp, and as we get to the season, when they have to make sure everybody's eligibility, they see it. And that was another mental battle I had to go through, because again, my dad didn't really, he thought the basketball thing was over. He was already trying to get me to go to the military. And so, you know, me calling my parents, like, "Oh, I can't play. I want to come back home. Can you give me a plane ticket?" You know, they're like, "You got to figure it out. This is what you wanted to do." So it was tough, man. Like I was out there for a minute while the season was going on, and the plan was, all right, well then I'm going to go back home. And that's what happened. I went back home. You know, I didn't finish out the season. I didn't finish out my 2 years of eligibility. And my mom, all right, I'm going to find another school. You know, I'm working at Outback Steakhouse, you know, making money and training at the same time. Like, I was still, the dream was still there, but
still there.
Life was, you know. So
I applaud you for that.
Yeah, that's basically like my college experience.
Yeah.
From JUCO to the 4-year. So yeah.
Yeah, y'all don't even know through all that, he still found a way to go play overseas. So let's get to the overseas career. How did that even get in the picture?
So, and this is why, you know, I feel like, I know now we're getting to this next stage of, you know, me going into this part of my life where, like, I tell, like, you and a lot of my clients where, again, like, the persistence, the passion. So, of course, the 3 pillars of GGT, passion, obsession, and drive. Mm-hmm. That's what got me overseas. So when I was working at Outback Steakhouse during that time, again, I'm in limbo. Like, damn, I still have eligibility to go to college, but I still want to play college, you know?
How many years did you still have?
I never played that
You
year.
never even
so
played?
I still had 2 years
of eligibility
to play after 4 years.
Okay, so yeah.
So during that time, you know, I'm still emailing coaches or whatever, but when I was working, one of my boys who finished college, he was going to this pro-am in Las Vegas, you know, for like Filipino Americans.
Okay.
Like I said, my mom's Filipino, so I'm half Filipino. It's like, yo, you know, we want to come out. There's like this tournament. There's going to be Filipino scouts. And I was like, what? And I remember growing up, my mom used to always tell me, like, oh, if you don't go to the NBA, you should go play in the Philippines. You'll be so famous and da-da-da. I'd be like, oh, no. I don't want to play in the Philippines. I want to go to the NBA. You know, it's me, young-minded.
Yeah, no, but...
Like, why are you telling me PBA? Like, I go to the NBA. And here we are.
Yeah.
My life was like, fuck it. You know, like, so I go with my boy to Vegas, you know, to go to this tryout, you know, didn't really have any expectations, just wanted to see where I was at. You know, like, what is this? You know, like, you really get paid out there. Like, So I was already working at a restaurant. So I go, and it was one of those days. It was just one of those, everything was hitting. Like, because I think a lot of it too is like I had no pressure. You know, my boy was getting there because he was done with college. You know, he was trying to go to the next step. I was just trying to check it out. It was just one of those days. You know, like I said, I was an athlete, so you know, I'm showing my athleticism. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're half Filipino, you're half this and that." And the agent comes up to me, gives me his card, and is like, "When you're done with college, when you're done with school, like hit me up. Let me know. You know, like you can make some money in the Philippines. You know, if you can get your Filipino passport, show documentation and proof that your mother is from the Philippines." So that just opened up like a whole different lane now where I'm like, oh damn. And I'm still thinking about going to the NBA. Right? My mindset is like, all right, well, that's going to be the route. You know, you hear all these stories of how everyone gets there.
Like, why not become one of them?
Yeah, I had no plan B. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, all right. So I'm like 22, 23 around this time. And I go back home and I rush. I tell my parents, like, yo, like, I'm going to go to the Philippines. I'm not going to college anymore. My dad was pissed. You know what I'm saying? You know, because again, like I said, this thing was about education, at least get your degree. And again, I always bring this story up to all my clients because, of course, I'm different now. You know, like, yes, finish your schooling, do this, do that. You know, but at that time, like I said, like, this is my path, this is my path.
That was just your path.
That was just what was going on in my life.
For sure.
You know, I'm not the same Mark Jeffries probably same with you. You're not the same Myron and Amey compared to who you were 5-6 years ago. So I made that decision with not only support from my mom, because it's kind of like her dreams. You know?
She was,
my dad wasn't really with it, so I had to do everything on my own. You know, the agent said, since I was just gonna go out there, you know, I didn't really have like a buzz, like, oh, because I didn't do anything in college. So like, you would have to go out there, and I'll get you a couple tryouts for some teams out here. So of course, I bet on myself. I'll be able to make it. Sure. So I go out there. No team was gonna pay for my ticket because, of course, it's like I was a nobody.
Yeah, nobody.
I sold my car for a ticket. I had like
for real.
Yeah, I had like a '99 Ford Thunderbird. I sold that. You know, it was hella cheap. It was like $1,500. I sold it for the ticket, everything. Because like I said, I was saving some money from Outback Steakhouse, like tips and everything, to get. It was a one-way ticket, low key, one-way ticket to go to the Philippines to try out for a couple teams. You know,
all else was lost. Like if that didn't work out, then you just had to figure a way back home.
But I was, like I said, I was confident at that time because my mindset was different. Like, I just thought it was another opportunity where, like, everything that happened to me in college, you know, the knees were feeling good. You know, like I stayed in the gym, but again, I was still kind of gullible. But in my mind, like, I'm gonna go to the Philippines. Like, I'm gonna move out there. I go out there, I do really good. I get signed, you know, to this team, Powerade Tigers in the Philippines. That was my first team. And then it was like another wake up where I'm just like, damn, like pro level, cutthroat. If you're not performing, you know what I'm saying? I had a couple games about being inconsistent, because just mentally, you know, it was different. You know, they're expecting you, being a Filipino American from the States, like you're supposed to produce. And I was going through stretches where I wasn't producing. It got to me mentally, you know, and then get cut, get traded a couple times, and I'm trying out for another team. They signed me because, you know, of my athleticism, my potential. Then, like I said, and this is why, as you know, like, I'm big on mental performance. Like, now looking back at it without no ego, like I said, whether you can call it scared, being nervous, being passive, like I didn't produce at a high level. I can say that to myself now, where I had these opportunities, where, like I said, like, I feel like I had physical tools for sure. But you're at the pro level where you got somebody like me, who's a Filipino American from New York or Florida, who's out there too, trying to live this dream or trying to make money, and he's out here killing it, and I'm over here, you know. And then that's kind of what happened. Like I said, I played 4 years overseas, and again, looking back at it, it's a blessing, you know. But I know what it did to me mentally at that time, because like I have high expectations for myself.
Yeah. Would you say, like mentally, when it stopped you, you would say, like, would you say it would be more of like you were just, oh,